Hello, sunshines! I am Luciana Garcia. Welcome to Social Saturdays. Every week, I interview an expert on a topic that I believe can assist our community in getting through these crazy times. With all that's going on in the world, we have been presented with an opportunity to look inward, to heal, to connect with our true selves, and choose love. And last Sunday, I was part of a sound bath ceremony via Zoom with this lovely woman and my dear friend Luna Rukmini. Today, we will be discussing the topic pandemic, an opportunity to surrender and grow. Let me tell you a little bit about Luna and the powerful being she is, and then we'll get to it. Luna Rukmini Devi is an internationally recognized devoted sound therapist, meditation instructor, and energy healer based in Los Angeles, California. She creates profound vibrational journeys through the art of sound alchemy and works with the energy centers to help dissolve blockages and restore balance in people's mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual bodies. Now, fun fact, both Luna and I are from Chile, and we met at a sound bath ceremony in the beach last year. So I am very excited to have her today. And Luna, can you start by telling us what sound healing is and the way it works?
Sure. Thank you for such a kind and beautiful introduction.
Of course, thank you so much for doing this. I'm so excited.
I'm so honored to be a part of this Social Saturdays, and thank you for creating this beautiful initiative to keep people more, engaged in positive conversations. So that's really great. Thank you. And sound healing, I think the way I like to describe it is basically it's a therapy. Um, it's a therapy that has existed for centuries in different parts of the world, in different cultures. It has been used with different instruments and in different ways. And it basically works with sounds and vibrations that are tuned to different frequencies, and they help in many ways. They help repair a lot of ailments, or they help promote calmness and harmony. They help dissolve different blockages. And and I think a way that I like to describe it is that, or that I like to think about it, I always say there is no sensation without emotion, or there is no emotion without sensation. So basically, if you think about it, every physical ailment or every physical sensation comes from an emotion. So, and we live in a society where a lot of emotions are not necessarily um, welcomed. We're not necessarily invited to look into those emotions, and we're constantly doing, and finding ways to run away from our own emotions. And so, when we do that, when we run away from them, they become a physical sensation. It's like, when you have anxiety and you feel this really strong sensation on your chest, or sometimes on your throat, or when you're in fear of an animal or something and you feel this thing in your stomach or your abdomen area. So that's an example of how an emotion can become a sensation. And basically, the vibrations and the sounds of these instruments penetrate your body, and they literally start like scratching and finding these obstacles or these blockages that we create ourselves when we don't allow these emotions to be healed. And the vibrations help find those blockages and ultimately dissolve them so that our energy can flow freely. So not only does it work on an energetic aspect, but also on a mental and physical aspect as well.
That is so powerful, and I feel like you are preaching to the choir in that we are accustomed to doing, and not really stopping to feel whatever it is we need to feel. Over these past few days, I have been like kind of settling into that because I have this like compulsive need to do things and produce and overwork myself, and and I find that this is a time to pause and see where does that impulse come from, why is it there. And so I think, yeah, you definitely hit the nail in the head with your answer there, and I think it's beautiful what you say what was it in since there's no feeling, there's no sensation that comes without a feeling.
Yeah, there's no emotion without sensation, or no sensation without emotion.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's so true. There's definitely, like, I could describe how different emotions feel in my body if when I pay attention to them. That's
Exactly.
very interesting. That's a very interesting perspective. And how, okay, I want to hear more about you and your journey with sound healing. How did you become a healer? How did you get into it? Talk to us a little bit about your why. Yeah.
Sure, I love this. Well, like you said, I'm originally from Chile, and I've lived away though for about 12 or 13 years, first in New Zealand and then here in California. And when I moved to California, well, first when I moved to New Zealand, when I left Chile, which was right after college, I discovered a whole new version of myself. I think I discovered what freedom felt like, like I was finally free from a lot of, ties, I think, that I've had in Chile. So that opened up a whole new world and a whole new perspective of look of how I felt about myself. I think I started loving myself and discovering more about myself and all that. And then I was sort of forced to go back to Chile. I didn't want to after 2.5 years. And I landed in Chile, and the moment I landed, I realized that I didn't feel like I belonged there. So I started looking for jobs and things to do in other places. And then I ended up moving here to California. That's the short version. And so when I landed here in California, I decided to go back to school. I had originally done design, industrial design in Chile in college, but I wasn't really vibrating much with that, and I wanted to do more. And because I was in California and it just felt like the right thing to do, I ended up studying marketing. I went back to marketing. I felt like I was in the right place to do something like that. And after studying marketing here for a year, I ended up getting jobs in advertising. First in some marketing, like more corporate uh, jobs, and then I got a few jobs in the advertising world, and then I started really growing. I ended up becoming really successful unexpectedly, and it was a really hard way for me to get to where I got to, but it was very rewarding. However, I had worked so hard that at some point I found myself having a really hard time with my health, with my relationship that I was in at the time, with my family, with my friends, and I started having a lot of really strange symptoms in my body too. And at that time, I was diagnosed with something called Graves' disease. It's an autoimmune disease that affects the thyroid. And it was really bad. My hormone levels were up here on the roof, and it was really intense. And so I decided I needed to change my life. I needed a lifestyle change, and I knew that my job was creating a lot of these feelings or these sensations. I was working a lot, and I was dedicating my entire life to work. And like we said earlier, I was just doing, 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 doing. And like most people, I did have a lot of childhood trauma or things that happened in my past that I think I never necessarily really faced. I kept putting my head in the sand and sort of running away from everything. So I think that's probably what was causing all these ailments and these physical things that I was experiencing, especially in my thyroid. And so that's when I started meditating. Here, I had meditated before when I was 14, and I went through a period of my life when I was very, more than spiritual, I would say religious actually, but I was very connected to some energy. And so here, I took some courses. I started studying like transcendental meditation. I started meditating, going more to nature, going camping and all that, and that really helped. And then I decided to quit my job, and I went to India, which had been my dream for a very long time. And I did my first Vipassana meditation course. It's like a 10-day, or it's actually like 12 days of silence up there in the Himalayas. And that totally changed my life. And then I came back to LA. I I got another job. I didn't want to go back to corporate, but I ended up going back to a really amazing job that I thought it was like the best thing that had happened to me at that time. And so I took the job, and funny enough, I guess, in one of the like summer parties, they created this really cool festival, and they invited a lot of different people to offer, like artists or healers or teachers, to offer different things for us, for the employees. And there was one place where they were offering sound baths, and that was the first time I tried a sound bath. So basically, the corporate world brought the sound healing modality into my life, which is kind of ironic, but it was great. And that was the first time I experienced it, and I was in shock with how beneficial it was to me. I could feel, it was just like a whole new world, a whole new experience. It totally touched me deeply. And then I found someone here in LA that was doing this regularly, and I started going every weekend. And at that time, I was considering like maybe doing some sort of yoga teacher training or something like that. I really wanted to be able to offer something, you know. And I at that time, I was practicing a lot of yoga, so I was feeling called to doing that. But there was something that was telling me that that wasn't the right thing, and I kept pushing it, and I just didn't find the right one. And then one day they announced that they were doing a sound healing teacher training. And the moment I heard that, I was like, sign me up, I'm in. And 2 weeks later, I was doing my first training course, and that's how I started learning. And then, now it's been a few years, and I look back, and I'm really grateful for all of those experiences. But ultimately, it really comes down to finding your own medicine, finding your own way. And for me, that person who came into my life and offered this training was really, a really great guide that helped me get to where I am right now. But yeah, she brought the message to me. She brought the calling, and I heard that calling, and I said yes to it, and here I am doing what I love the most.
I am so glad you heard the calling. And I totally hear what you're saying about the transformative experience of your first sound bath. I remember when we were at the beach and you took us through that ceremony. It was I did not know, and I'm a musician. I did not know sound and different frequencies of sound could do that. I was very like I there's it's a very transformative experience. Even last Sunday, I was like, I wonder what it's gonna be like through Zoom because it's not the same audio quality than live, but it was just as transformative. And I there is definitely a weight lifted after um, a sound bath. It's really powerful, and I think your story is really it's really inspiring, and it's really interesting how you kept following your guidance, right? Like your inner guidance, because there's calls and guidances and little messages come to us all the time, and it's always a question of whether we answer them or not. I am very glad you answered the call.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm really glad that you had a good experience in the Zoom ceremony last Sunday. It's been an investment for me, in both energetically and also materially. I have bought a lot of microphones and things to ensure
Oh,
it's good. So I'm glad that it's working. Thank you for.
yeah. That's okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because I'm like, computer audio is doing this, like healing me. This okay. Anyways, um, I I heard this theory a while ago, and I wanted to ask you about it. Where I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Bruce Lipton, um, but he okay, and he talked about the caterpillar butterfly, analyzed the whole pandemic and COVID and everything that humanity is going through right now. As we as humans have been caterpillars throughout our history. Caterpillars, eat, like leave the holes in the leaves and like go around and destroy plants and just eat everything in their way. Um, and and then they cocoon and kind of lock themselves down like we are right now, and then they become butterflies. And butterflies are like one of the insects that leaves the least amount of carbon footprint, and it's only beneficial for nature, and they're beautiful. And Dr. Bruce Lipton says this is an opportunity for us to cocoon and become butterflies. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that, and how can we see this as an opportunity that um, leads to the transformation into, butterflies, and like, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I actually have spoken a lot about the process of transformation from the cocoon into a butterfly, because one thing that we can't forget and that it's really important to remind ourselves of is that a butterfly, in order to become a butterfly, needs to go through the struggle that they go through when they are in their cocoon, you know? And it is very struggling for many people right now. A lot of people didn't even believe in this when it first started. Then we thought it was going to be a month or two, and now it's been, I don't even know how many, and we don't even know for how long. So I definitely, myself, my own experience has been beautiful. And I have gone through this process myself as well, of having ups and downs and being in fear and then being in love. And, when it first started, I was like, oh, I was actually in Chile when the quarantine started. And I had like 7 sold out sessions scheduled in Chile, group sessions. And I was there with my instruments and all that. And I had to fly back. I had to cancel all sessions because obviously we weren't allowed to gather. And I ended up flying back here, and I felt really sad that I had to cancel the sessions. And for a while, I had been thinking about offering my therapy online for a long time, actually. But there was something holding me back, some fear. I don't know what it was. And when I came back here, and I was like, what am I gonna do now? Like, all the meditation studios are closed, people are not able to gather. I had to cancel all my sessions in Chile. And that's when I kind of felt forced to just going online. And it was a whole new thing for me. Like I said, I had to invest in microphones and things that I didn't even know about. And thankfully, I had a lot of help. But basically, it opened up a huge opportunity for me to reach to a lot of people, to reach, I now get people from different countries, from all different parts of the world, and it's been beautiful. And that's just one small example of how my own experience has been one of transformation, and has led me to more opportunities. But I think that it is extremely important that we all continue to remind ourselves that there is always something good in everything that we experience. And I have been hearing from a lot of people, like, this has taught me this, it has taught me that. Like, we have sound bath at the beach now every Thursday, and we social distance and all that, but we get to share, and people open up, and we hold space for each other, and it's been beautiful. And there was one person I remember that said that he felt that he has connected more with everyone than he has ever done before, because now he talks to his co-workers like every day. He checks in with his family, with his loved ones, and all that. And I think that a lot of people would probably agree with that, in a way. Even though we're not physically together, we're all more connected, and we're connected through different social causes that are happening. We're connecting through different online events that we're attending, or just different ways of expressing ourselves and communicating our needs as well. And it's also a reminder that physicality is nothing but an illusion after all. We are all vibration. And if we tune into the same frequency, then we're connected regardless. We connect from the heart, we connect from our vibration, we connect through our breath, we connect through sharing, through expanding, and not necessarily through being together in the same room. So there are a lot of things that we all need to get reminded of often. But I think that your example of the caterpillar story, it's a really beautiful one, because I think that people do need to go into that lockdown. You mentioned the word pause, and that's how I've been referring to this moment. It's a great pause, the great pause. That's what I call it, because we're doing. I keep saying this, I know, but we're doing, and it ultimately comes down to being forced in a way to take a pause so that we can look for new opportunities. Because, and this is the last thing I'm going to say that I've been kind of preaching about a lot, but we come into this world, being fully free, but we land in a system. We land in a family, in a religion, sometimes in a country, in a society, in a culture, in a school, whatever. So, and that's a system that is conditioned by human beliefs that have been around forever, since humans exist. So this is bringing up the opportunity for people to question these beliefs, to shake things up. And when you question things, you're allowing for your own heart to give you the right answers. You're allowing for yourself to move through life based on your intuition and based on your own feelings, and not based on what a book says or what your teacher said in school or your religion, whatever said to you. It's all about feeling what works for you and what makes sense to you. So I think that that's the biggest opportunity that we're all facing right now. And some are not necessarily aware, but the more time goes by, the more people begin to awaken to this reality, I feel. So
That is wonderful, and I love what you said about we are by nature free. We are born free, and we are born into a system, and it's important to have that awareness so that we go back into our true selves and into our freedom. Um, and I that's it's also very something that I have been observing in me these past few days, because I on Monday I had like a mini rock bottom. It wasn't a rock bottom, but it was like a mini very low moment. um and since then it just like opened me up to not have the need to do it things all the time and be doing something at all times. And I was like, it's okay to take pauses throughout the day. It's okay, and it's actually what I need right now, not just okay. Um, and so I've been doing that, and surprisingly, my I have been like watching movies that I would have watched as a kid, like, and I feel this like 7-year-old energy in a good way, kind of coming out, and I feel like it might have something to do with the fact that that 7-year-old needs to heal and is in the process of like coming to the light and being transmuted into positive things. Um, yeah, I watched the second Frozen over and I'm like, this is if somebody watched me, I was just straight up sobbing. Anyway, so yeah, I love what you said about the being born into systems, because I feel like in our healing process it's important to treat ourselves like we would treat a kid that's learning, you know. Um, so yeah, I love I'm loving this conversation. I'm really excited. Um, so all right, back to sound healing. As a musician, this interests me a lot. Like I mentioned earlier. So can you talk to me about the instruments you use? What the frequencies of sound that touched up on this? But like what frequencies affect us how, and get as geeky as you want.
okay, cool. Um, so I'm actually going to show you some of the instruments so that it makes more sense, and then I'm going to be able to play some, I believe, right? Yeah, we're going to do, yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, cool. So I have an array of instruments. I don't even have them all here right now, but they all have different functions and they all have different frequencies too. So the first thing I'm going to say is that, and I'm sure as a musician you know this, but the standard frequency for most musical instruments is 440 hertz. And that is something that was changed, I believe, after the Second World War or something like that. I'm not really sure exactly when, but before then, the music used to be written in 432 hertz, which is the frequency that most classical musicians used back then. A lot of that music was written in 432. So 432 is known as as a more healing frequency. It's a lower frequency, and um, it's known as the frequency of love, the frequency of the divine, the frequency of healing. And in fact, if and I was doing this a few weeks ago because I was sharing this with some friends, but there are videos on YouTube or articles that talk a lot about this whole frequency change that happened, decades ago. And they have videos of like popular songs on 440 and 432. And if you, I'm sure that you will be able to notice it because of course you have a really good ear, but if you pay attention to it, you should be able to identify the difference. So frequencies really do matter, some of them feel stronger, louder, and some of them are more soothing, more calming. And so these bowls, the white ones, are made of crystal quartz. So not only do they work in the sound aspect, but they also bring the healing aspect of the crystal of quartz, which is a very healing and great, powerful crystal. And they are also tuned to different keynotes. They go from C all the way to A, B, yeah, to B, and so C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And each note also relates to each chakra center. All chakra centers, the main energy centers that we have, the seven main ones that we have, are connected to a musical note, a keynote. And so that's why when we play a certain one, we're working on a specific chakra. I have a set of seven. Right now I have six only here, but I have a set of seven. So I do, that's why I also offer a chakra clearing sound bath on Wednesdays where I do this chakra cleanse with the sounds. And then there's also the gong. That's one of the most intense ones. It's one of my favorites. It's really special. It's something that you would pick up. It kind of, in Avatar when they have to pick up they have to select like the dragon or this bird, the bird where they fly on, and it's like a whole ritual. That's how I describe the ritual of getting the gong, because it really picks like I played many gongs before I bought this one, and it's the only one that I have right now. I want to bring more, but right now I just really feel connected to this one, and it's tuned to the frequency of the moon, and that's also a really interesting thing. All planets have a frequency, and there are different types of gongs. This one belongs to the family of the planetary gongs, and like I said, it's a moon gong, and it's tuned to the frequency of the moon. And then I have Tibetan Balls, which I'm actually not sure what frequency these are on, but they are really powerful tools, these ones. And I get mine from India. They're made of seven different metals. And these are actually tools that have been used in the Himalayas, in Tibet and Nepal and India for centuries. And they are really healing. You can place them directly on people's body, and they help repair a lot of like physical discomfort, like back pain or shoulder pain or headaches or stomach ache or things like that. So yeah, and then there's like rain sticks and chimes and things that create this sort of concert that people get to journey on. Yeah.
That is so fantastic. I had no idea that every note was a chakra. I really want to join next Wednesday if that's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'll reach out to you. That is
Yeah.
so interesting.
Yeah, it goes from C to the
Yeah.
root chakra, basically, and then it goes
Mhm.
all the way up to the crown. So, from C, C is the root, D is the sacral chakra, C, D, E is the solar plexus, F is the heart, G is the throat, and then A, B are third eye and crown.
Wow, that is amazing. I sing a lot in the key of A. I wonder if that's connected to like how good my chakra is doing. My crown chakra is
Oh,
doing.
it definitely has some influence. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a really good point, by the way. I don't do this much, but is I do sing, but I don't use my voice as much in my sessions. It's something that I'm getting to explore more. But our voice is the most powerful instrument, and everybody from what I have experienced and from what I get to see in different people that I surround myself with, everybody has the power to sing, and sometimes we think that we have to be some sort of special being or a musician or whatever, but your voice is something that you can train, and a lot, and we're also all creative beings. We come into this world as a creative being, but again, there are certain things, limiting beliefs or systems or things that can hinder our creativity, and it's the same with our voice. Our voice gets blocked for whatever reason, but everybody has the power to sing and open up that throat chakra and sing from the heart, and it's a beautiful form of expression and of healing as well.
And it's very true what you say, and sometimes people don't believe me when I tell them, but when I started singing, I was tone deaf and rhythm blind. So I don't have any natural talent for singing. It's not that I was born singing and had this like beautiful voice as a kid and I just worked on it. No. At age 18, like 5 years ago, I was tone deaf and rhythm blind, and I decided to start connecting with my body and you know, address the issues because I really loved singing. That's a short version of the story, but yeah, everyone can sing. Everyone can sing. Doesn't matter if you have zero talent. I had zero talent, and now I do it professionally. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there for those of you who are like, you're just saying that because you sound good.
Wow, super inspiring, and thank you for saying that. Yeah, good for you. Congrats.
Could you give us a little 5 to 10 minute sound bath demo?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's exciting.
To change the mic here so that the
Okay.
sound quality works best. Okay. All right. So for anyone who is watching this and for you, just invite yourself to relax. We're going to do just a short demonstration. So I don't think I'll get to play all the instruments, but you'll get an idea of how it goes. So we usually start by relaxing our body, taking some deep breaths in through the nose and out of the mouth. Connecting with this beautiful force of life, our breath, and inviting into our body a deep sense of gratitude and love and light and healing with every inhale that we take. And also using the exhale as a sign of relief, inviting yourself to remove from your body, to take away from your system whatever is no longer serving you, and just inviting yourself to fully relax and surrender to the sounds. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out of the mouth. Taking a moment to acknowledge any feelings, any thoughts, any sensations that may be coming up for you right now. Letting them be, welcoming them, accepting them, loving them, thanking them, and giving ourselves the allowance for us to heal any sensation, any thought, or any emotion that does not longer serve us. You can keep breathing, or if for anyone who is watching this, feel free to stay wherever you are and keep breathing and feeling into it. But for us, we can keep having our conversation.
That was so wonderful. Thank you so much for showing us a little bit of the magic you do.
Mm. Thank you for allowing me to walk you through this mini sound journey.
Yeah, it was very interesting because at first I was like, I I've never done this while being recorded, so I felt kind of exposed, kind of closing my eyes and surrendering while filming. But then it just kind of happened and it felt great and
Good. It's all about
super light.
it's all about surrendering, just like this pandemic, this
Yeah.
pause. It's all about surrendering. There's nothing that we can control right now. So I'm glad you said that. Thank you.
Definitely, definitely. Luna, thank you so much for sitting with me today and for showing us what you do and explaining to us what sound healing is and how we can surrender and grow throughout this pandemic. I really am very inspired and I feel a weight lifted every time you play your instruments and do your thing. It's really wonderful.
Thank
Um,
you. Thank you.
yeah. And to finalize, like, how can the people watching follow up with you? I know you're doing a lot of sound healing um, on Zoom and everything. So should like just let us know a little bit about what you're up to these days and how people can support you or follow your work.
Yeah, thank you for that opportunity. I had to reinvent myself, like I said. I had to cancel. I had a retreat in India. I had another retreat here for Latina women. So all of that was canceled, but now I'm offering a lot of things online, like you said. So I am doing moon ceremonies twice a month for new moon and full moon. I had been doing them in English, but now I'm starting to do them in Spanish as well. So I do two different ceremonies. And then I do every Wednesday, I'm offering the chakra clearing sound bath that I mentioned a few minutes ago. That's a weekly class, it's donation based, and it's also via Zoom. And then on Mondays, I do gong bath. It's just the gong that I didn't get to play right now, but you can watch it on Instagram Live every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. And then I do the sound bath at the beach every Thursday here in Venice for anyone who is in LA. We get people from all over town. They drive all the way here so that they can be a part of it. It's been beautiful. Every Thursday at 6:30 for sunset. And yeah, well, and I do private sessions. I do like baby showers or work with companies, or it's been really great for people now that are, in lockdown and they can't see their families or whatever. So we all get together on Zoom and I create a little ceremony for them. It's been really beautiful. And the best way to reach me is my website is mindfulluna.com. There you can find more information. And my Instagram is probably the platform that I use the most. It's mindful.luna. So any questions, any feedback, even anything that I can do for you guys and for you, Luciana, also, feel free to reach out anytime.
Thank you, lovely. I will link those for you watching in the description, so go. All right, my love. Thank you so much again. Mwah. Thank you, everyone who listened and watched. This was amazing and very relaxing, but also empowering. So yeah, I hope you got some good stuff from it too.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.
Bye bye. Thank you.